everyone. In today's session, we are going to study about money creation. So, money creation means how the money is going to created under the banks, that is, creation of the money. The first one, let us see how it is going to create. Through this process, bankers are able to create credit which is in far excess of initial deposit. From our previous deposits, the banks are going to create some reserves for them, and from there they are going to give as a deposits, and then they are going to create a sum of money. That means, see, to have to run a bank, maybe it is a central bank or a commercial bank, there must be a creation of money, there should be a money flowing in them. So if there is no fluctuations of money, then they cannot go for the money circulation. So what happens in that situation is, first one, so let us take a two assumption. In that first one is, entire commercial banking system is considered as one unit in term, and it unit is termed as bank. So entire commercial banking system, whatever the commercial banking systems are there, so that is concerned as one unit, and that unit is termed as bank. So all the commercial banks are termed as one single unit. That is just because we are making some assumptions, because when it comes for the commerce, it is not only a science, it is not fixed, so it is art. So there what happens, then we need to make some assumptions to define something. So that is the first assumption, entire commercial banking system is considered to be one unit, is termed as a bank. Next, second one, all the receipts and payments are routed through the bank. Whatever the receipts, whatever the income or expenses are there, so that is routed in terms of bank only. So whatever the payments that we need to make, or whatever the receipt that we want to receive, that will be gone through the bank. See, let us see that how that is going to do. In first one, we have ID, that is initial deposit. I have written it as a ID, initial deposit. Under initial deposit, the first one is round one. Under round one, what happens? Someone will going to deposit 1,000 into the bank, and what bank will do? So to create money, we need to go for the lending and accepting the borrowing. So we cannot give entire amount as a loan, or we cannot give entire thing as a loan. So that we are going to keep some ratios, that is liquid reserve ratio. There will be some ratios that we are going to keep in our hand, so that will be LRR. So here in this problem, like in this, I have considered it as a 20%. So 20% reserve that we are going to keep as a cash reserve. So in the first round, we are going to deposit 1,000. From that 1,000, we are taking 20% as a reserve, that is 200 rupees. From that 200, what is the remaining? 800. This 800 will be going to lended as a loan for the outsiders. So what happens? When one person go for the bank, 800 will be taken, like 800 has been given. So not only the loans who has been taken, but some other person will also be going to give that amount back to the bank, that is in the form of deposit they are going to do. So that is that we have assumed that in the second round we are going to deposit rupees 800, and again the 20% of 800 is 160. 160 will be given back to them. So from that 160, the remaining amount 640 will be given as a loan. So in the second round, 640 has been gone out as a loan. They have provided a loan, and they will be, and that 640 will be written in one or the other way. They are going to get it back as a deposit again, and again 20% LRR, that is cash reserve ratio, that will be 128. From that 128, 512 will be the loans that will be distributed for the outsiders. So this process keep on going. So whatever the amount we have received here, so this amount will be coming here, and here. So these will be keep on going till the amount will become 5,000, and these initial deposit and cash reserve ratios total, when the cash reserve ratios total will become 1,000, that means initial investment and the total cash reserve become the same, then this process will be going to end. So from this table, what we have learned, in that we have studied that total deposit becomes 5 times of initial deposit. See, 5 times, that is the total deposit was 1,000, and it's 5 times means 5,000. The total deposits the total deposit becomes the 5 times of the initial deposit. And second one is 5 times is the value of the money multiplier. Let us afterwards we'll see what is money multiplier. So it will become 5 times of the money multiplier. Next, deposit creation comes to an end when it will become equal to the initial investment. When it will become the total investment, total cash reserve ratio will become equal to the initial investment, then this process will be going to an end. So this is about the how they are going to create the money. How they are going to money means they will keep some reserves. From that reserve they will take from the deposit, and whatever the remaining amount is there, that they are going to lend it back to the public. Now let us see what is the meaning of money multiplier. Money multiplier, that already we have studied. So what second point says, 5 times the value of money multiplier. So what it means, what is the money multiplier? So money multiplier refers to the amount of money that bankers are able to create in the form of deposit. So what is the amount of money that they can create as a deposit, in the form of deposit, what the banks are able to create in the form of deposit. So that the formula is money multiplier is equal to 1 by LRR. LRR means liquid reserve ratio, 1 divided by liquid reserve ratio, that is 1, that is 1 as a formula. And the previous problem we have taken 20% as LRR, that means 0.20. So 1 divided by 0.20, it means 5 times. So that will be the money multiplier. So we can multiply it will become the 5 times from the as per our assumption. So this is about how they are going to create the money and what is money multiplier. Let us see now controller of credit and money supply, how they are going to control the money supply in a economy. Like maybe the credit system or the money supply need to be controlled. If there is an excess amount, it will also be the problem. If they are not ready to spend any money in the bank, so that will be also the problem. So the next concept will be controller of credit and money supply. Due to economic fluctuation, RBI controls money supply and credit in the best interest of the economy. So what RBI is going to do is, RBI will leave the money to circulate in an economy in the best way, that there should be a circulation in an economy. If that circulation has been stopped, then the RBI will interfere and make that circulation is possible. For this purpose, RBI make use of the following methods. And that first one is repo rate. Repo rate means what happens is, so repo rate means central bank will fix an interest to a commercial banks. That means commercial banks must keep some amount of deposit in the central bank in the form of for a short period of time. From that they will be paying, for that they are going to pay charge some interest, and that interest has been collected by the public through a commercial banks. So these banks, what happens, when they are going to collect that amount, then only the public will be going to get the loan. So this is about the repo rate. Next, second point is bank rate. Bank rate means it is for the long term. Long term means the bank rate will be going to charge for a very long period of time, where the bank will be going to charge a separate amount for the banker's bank. That's RBI will be going to charge a bank rate for the person. Next, open market operation, buying and selling of government securities by the RBI. Here what happens is, there will be some government securities. So from the government securities, what they are going to do is, so there will be a government securities in the hands of public. Okay. Now what happens is, if it is in the hands of public, there will be no money circulation. When the money circulation must be there, the government will be going to buy that securities, and they are going to pay the money for the public. When there is a huge money circulation, then the government will be going to buy back that securities and hold the money circulation. So this is how the open market operations will be going on. That is buying and selling of government securities by the RBI. Sometimes RBI will sell the securities for the public so that money circulation can be increased. When the money circulation has been increased, when the money circulation should be increased, the RBI will be going to buy back the securities. When the money circulation should be reduced, then the RBI will be selling the securities back to the public. So that is about the open market operation. Next comes Legal reserve requirements. Legal reserve requirement. There will be some requirements that should be met by the met by the banks. In that first one is CRR, that is cash reserve ratio, and next one is SLR, statutory reserve ratio. So both these are for the imposed to commercial banks through the RBI, so that they must keep some kind of reserves to the banks in the RBI, so that lending and buying process will be going to the whatever the interest rate that we are getting from the banks, that is through the whatever the deposits that they have kept in the RBI, from that value we are getting this. And the last point is margin requirements. Margin requirements means banks are going to keep some particular margins for their lendings and borrowings, and they are not going to give the entire amount whatever they have deposited, or whatever the reserves that they have kept, or whatever they have received. So they will fix the margin that they are going to spend only this much amount. So that is about the margin requirement. So this is how banks are going to create the a circle for the money creation and money supply. So from these way they are going to control the money supply and the money requirements.